Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another chaotic, as always, episode of RSP, the Red Podcast. Hopefully, for the circumstances, third time stands to be the charm, and we have no technical issues today, as I'm pretty sure, at the very least, that I've figured everything out. But we'll see. We move as things stand, and we have a lot of things to talk about, specifically football. It's been a few months now since we've had a department specific episode, per se, but with the season officially starting tomorrow, pre-season done, we are here, as always, to give you all a quick preview on everything that's going on and to, for sure, catch up on the many transfer updates of the day, as there is a lot specifically on the departure department. I'm hoping everything's running well through the intro. Greetings, good afternoon, good morning, and good night, depending on where and when you're watching this. If you are enjoying, as always, what you see, support us, check us out. Links are below. And for 2 more days, just until the 5th, nominations are open for the Football Content Awards, for which we are running for the specific category of Best International Podcast. So, if you want us to represent you all, to represent RSP, Olympiacos, the community in general, in the big stage of England, do go nominate us. It would be more than an honor to actually make it this time. Even though I know that a lot of you have done your best to get us there already in the past month that the nominations have been open, it's gonna be fun either way, honestly. It's gonna be fun either way, and I'm thankful no matter if we make it or not. After all of that, let's get into it. Good evening, good evening. Seeing the squad announcement for tomorrow with only one center forward was really strange. Indeed, it was. Indeed, it was. Of course, right before we started, the squad list for tomorrow's game came out, the official squad list, and I do want to go through it a bit because there is the known absences, there is the not so expected absences, and in general, we'll see how this goes. We have a lot to say, as we have said already. Reading the list off, of course, the goalkeepers are Balsa Popovic, Jobanidis, and Sturnaras, with Popovic expected to be the starter, given Stefan Ortega was simply not fit enough to play this game. Then, on the defender side, we have Manolis Tzolakis, who I would definitely start if he's at 100%, and it really seems like he is. I'm definitely giving him the start. Francisco Ortega, who probably won't play, or he will play his final game wearing the red and white, but we'll get into that in a bit. Zinedine Smailovic and Lorenzo Pirola, who are both expected to start. David Carmo, Rodinei, Pablo Maffeo, Rechos, and Bruno. On the midfield department, we have, of course, the captain, Kostas Fortounis, Gustavo Sa, Zelson Martins, Dani Garcia, Lolo Scipioni, who is fit to play, but given the time that he missed, he will for sure not start. Ζώτα Σίλβα, Τσικίνιο, Joel Roca, Christos Philis, who is included in the squad and the list, and Christos Mouzakidis, and just the one man up top, Ayub El Kabi. And I am gonna go straight into the comments and focus on this. Ayub El Kabi will carry tomorrow. I believe it. I'm more than certain that we will see at least one goal from Ayub El Kabi. Both him and Jota Silva have the massive advantage of the weakness in Nijmegen's game, which is basically the lack of not only experience, but the lack of quality in the center backs. So both the runs of Jota Silva and Ayub El Kabi of the back of the defense will be perfect. If I was to guess something about tomorrow's game, it would be that we will probably see a goal fest. I am really expecting a goal fest, which isn't amazing for our hearts, but we'll see. Phyllis will have a perfect game tomorrow, mark my words. You're expecting Christos to get game time? I mean, I hope so. I hope Christos Phyllis gets a few minutes at the very least, but I wouldn't really be expecting him to come off the bench. Now that I agree more with, I'm expecting a good game from Musa tomorrow. I am expecting a great game from Mouzakidis tomorrow. Of course, Christos Mouzakidis is expected to start next to, I know this won't make anybody happy, but Christos Mouzakidis is expected to start next to Dani Garcia. But depending on the attacking approach, there is a chance that Chiquinho gets moved back to the 8 and we'll see Chiquinho start. We'll see about that tomorrow. Of course, the notable absence that we sadly half expected is Santiese. Santiese, who is completely unfit to play tomorrow. Maybe he's being protected for the second leg, for which I do expect him to be okay, but he, of course, will be a notable absence from tomorrow's midfield, and he will definitely force a change of plans from Coach Mendy, which, of course, will more than likely be the start of Christos Mouzakidis, as we said. Yes, I expect Mendy will give Philly some minutes to cook Nijmegen's midfield. I hope so. I hope he plays. I really do. I hope he has the chance to prove to everyone what he can do. I hope he has the chance to solidify himself, as does a certain someone as well in Balsa Popovic. Balsa Popovic is going to get the start tomorrow, as we have known for a while now. The first thing that really leaked from the squad list was the fact that Stefan Ortega would not be part of it. And if Balsa Popovic can show what he is very capable of, and that's two very, very good performances, then Mendy is going to have a very good problem in his hands of really having two in power starting keepers instead of a clear number one and a clear number two. I'm very worried about our defense tomorrow. I'm not. This may sound cocky. This may sound overconfident. I am not gonna underestimate Nijmegen in the slightest. But I am really expecting our defense to be okay. I think tomorrow will be a chance for Zinedine Smilovic to solidify himself even more. I think everyone is going to really see that what we saw in preseason wasn't a fluke and that Smilovic is perhaps one of our better signings in years, maybe, knock on wood, as always. And in regards to the opinion that Ban Sapovic will carry our defense tomorrow, I am very confident in the pairing of Zinedine Smilovic and Lorenzo Pirola. I'm very confident in the centre backs. Right back wise, I can't really say, given we don't know who's going to start. That's still a question mark. I am really hoping, as I said, for Manolis Tzolakis, who showed some very, very good things pre-injury. Now, if we have the duo of Bruno and Pablo Maffeo, perhaps I'd be a bit worried winger-wise, but that's not really the focus of Nijmegen. So honestly, we'll see. I hope Smilovic becomes Olympiacos' VVD. I'll say what I said originally about Pirola as well, that let's not label the man. I've heard the Melberg comparisons as well, and I'll say like we'll see the first ever Zinedine Smilovic. I think that's the best way to really go ahead and put it. And I do immediately want to go ahead and remind everybody about what we talked about in detail when the draw happened, and that's how Nijmegen did last season. And that, of course, does entail that we are facing a team that is, yes, inexperienced, but for sure is a team to not underestimate in the slightest. A team with attacking prowess finishing third for the first time in their history, which of course gave them the Champions League qualification, leaping up the table from their previous 8th place finish. Cup-wise, they did reach the final once again, but they lost very heavily to the champions, the cup champions, AZ Alkmaar. And for those of you that have been paying attention and have been with us for a while, I confused Alkmaar for winning the Eredivisie. No, they won the cup. I completely flipped it around in my head, and I really don't know why that happened. Of course, as we said, Nijmegen finished third with 59 points, a home record of 9-5-3, and an away record of 7-6-4, scoring 77 but conceding 53, which honestly is impressive. Of course, top performers were Linsen with 11 goals, their top scorer, a player that's known by Olympiacos fans for the worst reasons possible. Of course, I'm talking about Tiaron Cherry, the veteran now that contributed to 10 goals. And those really were the main focal points of Nijmegen last season. they parted ways with a lot of players, those of course being Unal that got sold to Lille, El Kachati that left, Jasper Silsen that got released, and players like Gonzalez, players like Willems departed because their contract ran out. Now, the main thing to talk about is the people coming in for Nijmegen. And those are Tobias Storm, a promising centre back, the very well known, again, especially to Olympiacos fans, Dusan Tadic, that signed on a free. The once again well known to Olympiacos fans and former barely red and white player Emre Mor, that basically was Unal's replacement. We'll see how that goes. And the well-known to more manager FIFA players, perhaps, Per sure that was their highest profile signing until Dusan Tadic got announced. It's a lot of players. It's a new team. It's an improved team. It's an attacking team that plays organized football. But as I said before, we are talking about a team that lacks quality in the back. The best defender is Per sure. I'm confident. I'm not overly confident, but I'm confident. Yeah, Emre Mor, I don't know what happened with Emre. He came at a very bad time. I think he played like a total of 45 minutes of football for Olympiacos, nothing more. I don't think he'll do anything really. I'm seeing the comments, and I do agree. The worry perhaps is the left side. The quote unquote weakling. But I don't really see anyone that can threaten Bruno, if that makes sense. We're not talking about a team that will play from the wings. We are talking about a team that will play direct football, attacking football, pressure football. It differs from our style, but the attacking focus is more or less the same. We'll see. That's my main thing. We'll see. I'm not scared. There's nothing to be scared about. Like, come on. I think he was not ready for Olympiacos. Emre, it's not the fact that he wasn't, because we are talking about a player that wasn't a wonder kid anymore. We are talking about a player that was looking to revive a spiraling career. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. I will go out on a limb and say that he wasn't good enough for Olympiacos, especially an Olympiacos that had so many players and that was in turmoil, really. So I think that while he was unlucky, he also wasn't good enough. They do play direct football. They play a lot of passing football, which will help. It will really help the football that Mendy wants to play, because it's a contradicting focus, if that makes sense. While both teams do focus on attacking, it will be way easier for us to press and force them into mistakes. But we'll see. Again, we'll see. I don't want to focus too much on making predictions and assumptions, because after all, it's a team that hasn't played Champions League before. There's really no clue in how they'll go on to approach a matchup like this. We'll see. We have never been closer. Yeah, I do agree with that. Emre Mor was never a fit for Petro. I've said it back then. I'll say it now as well. It's one of the players that I really went, like, why? Why is he here? Why was he brought in? And that's happened a lot. That's a whole different story. So, man, I do want to move forward to some things that is the result of today's draw. And as I said on all socials when it was announced, how predictable. Seeing everything, taking the potential opponents in and seeing everything, I do want to say that, jokes aside, it is the best case scenario, because realistically, Lyon is a very tough opponent. Lyon is even better than they were last year. So again, in hindsight, that was the team to avoid. Am I happy that we are going against what will most likely be Bodo Glimt? No. Yes and no. I'll explain. It's a much different situation playing Bodo dead set in the middle of winter, and it's a much different situation playing Bodo dead set in the middle of summer. Because especially with the first game being at home, I want us to play Bodo to play this Bodo in the afternoon. Yeah, I want it to be at like 8. I want it to be the early games. And that's exactly what I'm getting into. While the fake grass won't help us, with more prepared than we were, it's not the same Bodo. And something to keep in mind is the fact that it's going to be like 35 degrees here. It's the same effect that was with us going to the Arctic Circle, almost. They're going to struggle here. Purely from the weather, they're going to struggle here. So, in terms of comparison with Lyon, it's a better scenario. I think if we were to give it like percentages, I think we're favorites 60-40, like it's close, maybe even I'd say 50-50. And now the other scenario, I'll get into both teams in detail as I did Nijmegen, but the other scenario is playing Union Saint-Gilloise. And Union, if they somehow do it against Bodo, no disrespect meant, they'll be doing us a favor. Much easier team, much better circumstances, and a way better chance for Olympiacos. But my main focal point is that we shouldn't fear anybody. We should go to Santa Claus's village in August. It's not that far. Honestly, it's so close to the Arctic Circle. It's still insane. It's been 2 years, and it's still insane to me that game happened. Like that game and Kairat still feel like fever dreams in my eyes. They really do. Now, getting into Bodo. Bodo, last season, they narrowly just let me actually make sure that I have the correct summary up. Do give me a second. Okay, I did have the correct summary up. Of course, last complete season, Bodo barely, just barely missed out on defending their title against that Viking side that we all heard about and knew. And they had some wild games, like 7-2, for example, 7-1 wins. Of course, their top scorer from the last complete season, and a man that scored against us as well, Kasper Hogg, has left or is in the process of leaving. I'm not certain, to go to Celtic. So that's a threat gone, for example. And the goalkeeper, of course, that we are all very familiar with as well, Nikita Hakin, kept 13 clean sheets. They became a viral club with their Champions League campaign, beating some insane teams and making a run that's, honestly, as much as I hate to say it, making a run that is admirable. Like, we have to kind of admit it. The transfer of Kasper Hogg to Celtic has been complete. I was right, and it happened for 13 million. Matthias Jorgensen has also left Bodo Glimt for Championship side Blackburn Rovers. Anders Klinge has left for Jagiellonia. And in regards to their bringing in, I don't really see a lot of special names. I don't see any recognizable names at the very least. And now, because that matters as well, let me actually go into the comments before. Yeah. I just saw that he has been announced by Celtic. That completely flew over my head. Kasper Hogg was a really good player. I wanted him back then to come to Olympiacos. Who didn't? I still did up until his move to Celtic. Of course, people wanted a player of that quality to come to Olympiacos. That's the players we should want in. Now, as I was about to say, In the 2026 season, Bodo Glimt is sitting on the top of the league through 16 match days, as they have won 5 straight. They've won 12, drawn 2, and lost 2, having scored 41, having conceded 11, being 1 point ahead from the defending champions, Viking. And honestly, I think the player that I would really just highlight as the danger man that's still at Bodo is Jens Peter Hauge, the former Milan man that we saw as well in our last matchup against the Scandinavian side. Quality, talent, and everything in between. There is not enough words to describe how well fitting Jens Peter Hauge is in regards to Bodo Glimt. Now, on the other side, the quote unquote underdogs of that specific matchup, Union Saint-Gilloise. They enjoyed a very good season as well. Of course, they won the cup. They made their first ever appearance in the Champions League phase. They ultimately lost the title to former club of Christos Tzolakis, Club Brugge. And they had some very good records in general in regards to the standards of Saint-Gilloise and in regards to their key transfers. Their biggest, of course, transaction is the sale of Serpen to Ipswich for 10 million. They have sold Mamadou Bari to Al Shabab. They have loaned Mamadou Bari to Al Shabab, excuse me. They have let Christian Burgess go on a free to Ghent. And in regards to who they have brought in, because there are some more recognizable names comparative to Bodo Glimt, there is a name that, please don't kill me, given the pronunciation that I'm about to say, Andrei Krikfalusi, the 22-year-old defensive midfielder that arrived from Baniko Strava for 5 million. They kept on a permanent, they signed Mofokeng, who they had brought in on loan last season from the Orlando Pirates, and they signed relatively known Darius Olaru, the experienced attacking midfielder brought in from Steaua. Definitely on the lower hand in regards to the matchup, but honestly, you never know what can happen. Yeah, does anyone really believe Union Saint-Gilloise will do us a favor? Probably not, but it's worth the shout. Football's football. We've seen upsets before. I definitely know which one is the preferable opponent. That's for sure. Now, as we're getting closer and closer to closing off, exactly, it's football. Everything can happen. The last subject is this, because God is there a lot out of. I'm back. Okay, just a small cut. I'm back. I'm back, and sadly, I'm not back with good news. Because the first transfer that I do want to talk about is the now as done deal as it gets of Kostas Tzolakis. Now we know probably at least the full details of the transfer of Kostas Tzolakis to Hull City, and it goes as follows. Kostas Tzolakis will sign a 5-year contract with Hull City, not a 4-year deal, after an agreement of 20 million euros and not the originally reported 15. The deal and the full details were officially agreed upon this weekend and not earlier, and it's expected that Olympiacos are gonna retain a 15% clear resale value. Now, again, divisive opinions, okay? Divisive opinion. I'm still depressed. But one of my personal favorites and one of the best players Olympiacos has ever produced is gonna leave Olympiacos. I really wish we kept him for one more year. I really do. One more, perhaps Champions League run. But you can't help but be the happiest that another one of us, because Tzolakis, if anything, is an Olympiacos fan as well as a very talented Olympiacos goalkeeper, is making their Premier League dreams come true. And I'm more than sure that everyone is going to follow Hull City next season with a different kind of support and perhaps longing. It's sad, it really is, but that's how football is sometimes, sadly. Yeah, exactly. As overused as that phrase is, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. We're lucky to have seen Kostas Tzolakis have his incredible story at Olympiacos, and I'm sure he'll be back. There's no doubt in my mind that just like Babis Kostoulas, Kostas Tzolakis will wear the Olympiacos colors once again in the future. There's no doubt in my mind. I missed this cup. In the meantime, we're talking as if we've already secured qualification. Far from it. Far from it. I'm not underestimating Nijmegen, but we definitely needed to look at what may follow in the playoffs. But I'm definitely not saying no one gets knocked out and no one qualifies from solely a draw. Everything, just like everything regarding football, happens on the field and not with speculation. Now, the next deal that perhaps was a bit unexpected comes in regards to someone that perhaps has been a bit forgotten, and that is Gabriel Strefezza. It seems like Olympiacos have finally found a place to sell off the frozen out winger, and that of course is in Italy, and that is Palermo, a club that really hadn't been mentioned up until now. Inzaghi's team needed someone to fill that right winger role in the 4-2-3-1 he plays, and Palermo are considered the favorites to sign Gabriel Strefezza. Last season, on his loan to Parma, he did grab himself 2 goals. He did so up, and he himself, along with the club, have both agreed that it's best for both parties for the player to return to Italy on a permanent basis. It's reported that Palermo have offered Olympiacos around about 7 million euros, which would be more than acceptable, of course, and it seems like it's going to happen. It really does. And the club has offered Gabriel Strefezza a 3-year deal with significant wages, and it really seems like Strefezza is very keen on the deal, and I would expect the club itself to follow up. It's good. It's good for these players to be gone. And again, Strefezza is one of the players that wasn't bad. Gabriel Strefezza is a very good modern winger, but he was never going to fit here. Never. Absolutely never. And sadly, that's the truth. So it's as close to the phrase of it's the best for both parties as it gets. It was the same talk we had with Clayton, for example. Definitely not a bad footballer, but certainly someone that's not meant for Olympiacos. And yes, as shocking as it sounds, the deal will be close to 7 million for Gabriel Strefezza. The deal for Andre Luis, as we reported about a week ago, will officially be around 20 million. It's 16 million euros clean and 3.5 million euros in bonuses. It's a bit higher on both, but that's the roundabout on both prices. And Andre Luis will travel to Brazil and then straight to Kansas to sign with Sporting KC. As we've told you a while now. The next scenario that came up today is the expected return of Yorgos Masouras, this time on a permanent basis, to Saudi Arabia. Neom SC have reportedly even reached a verbal agreement with both the club and the player in regards to the transfer of Yorgos Masouras, originally reported by reliable journalist Rudy Galetti. And as we have really told you for a while, the moment Masouras came back, we knew he'd go again. And given the very good season that he had in the Saudi Pro League, recording 13 goals and 3 assists in 32 appearances for Al Khalij out on loan, the Saudi club of Neom saw the opportunity and seems like they took it. Not a lot of details are known in regards to the move, but we'll definitely know soon enough. And again, I know it sounds shocking, but the transfers of Andre Luis and Gabriel Strefezza are gonna be around, if both get completed, are gonna be around 27 million, which is gonna help the club in a lot of departments so much, and not only transfers, in everything that's going to help the club so much. And the last thing that we want to target today is a deal that's been going on for a while, and it's a deal that's going to bring in a transfer as well for sure, and that's the deal between River Plate and Olympiacos for Argentine left back Francisco Ortega. River Plate officially put in a new offer that reaches 5 million euros, which has led to Olympiacos giving the green light for the transfer. Stuff is moving, expected to be official very, very soon. And reportedly, River Plate have offered Francisco Ortega a contract of 3.5 years, which does bring me to the question that was asked earlier over on Instagram. What's been going on with Salah-Eddin? Salah-Eddin is someone that we have been hearing about for the past, what has it been, a week? I also saw something very interesting just now. And we've been hearing different scenarios day in and day out. I would advise patience. The Moroccan is definitely not the only player that Olympiacos is looking at, but this is definitely not a deal that's off the table. We'll see in the next few days for sure, especially now that the Ortega deal seems to be finalizing. I am going to throw something out there without really being certain. Given that stuff's moving forward with the deal of Francisco Ortega, I am expecting Olympiacos to have someone ready immediately to come in. So I am expecting an announcement, perhaps even in between the Nijmegen games. But if it's not in between, it will most definitely be right after. Ortega was more than good enough in his first 2 seasons. Look, the case of Francisco Ortega is interesting. Francisco Ortega leaves behind a very positive mark in his Olympiacos stint. And he's not leaving because he was bad. Even last season, Ortega wasn't bad. You can't call him bad. He just hit a stalemate. There comes a time in everyone's careers where a footballer needs to move on because there's nothing more to give to a club. It's not the fact that Ortega disappointed. He definitely didn't. It's the fact that Francisco Ortega had nothing more to give to Olympiacos. He reached his ceiling here. That's why we had to move him on. I'm never going to call Francisco Ortega a bad footballer. He gave so much to Olympiacos, and he will forever be remembered as part of that legendary squad that won the Conference League. Now, let's say that we, knock on wood, get knocked out. We will find ourselves in pot 1 of the UEFA Europa League, along with Leverkusen, the confirmed clubs in pot 1 of the Europa League are Bayer Leverkusen, Juventus, AC Milan, AZ Alkmaar, and Real Sociedad. So, if Olympiacos find themselves in the Europa League, we will be in pot 1. Do we know something about Bragança from Sporting? The last reported things in regards to Daniel Bragança are that Olympiacos would be preparing a 10 million euro offer for the very talented midfielder. There is a certain agent that has been involved in this deal, a certain agent that Mr. Marinakis and Olympiacos have a very good relationship with. So, it's definitely not a deal done, nowhere near, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on because it seems very, very possible. And what I really do want to say in regards to Daniel Bragança is the fact that we are talking about something that's very high risk, high reward. We are talking about a very, very good player, a very, very good midfielder, and the divisive point in regards to him is the 2 ACLs, which again is the high risk. But if you go back and look at his last season, I haven't really done my extensive research. I will if the transfer starts moving. But if you go back and look at his previous season, you'll see that he had a very full season. You'll see that he was a vital part in Sporting's squad, and you will definitely be impressed. There's a lot of names that we've seen, we've heard. I once again would advise patience. Olympiacos will sign left back. Olympiacos will sign a midfielder, and we are nowhere near done. We are nowhere near done. There's still a lot to come. As Mendy himself said, there is still a lot to come and a lot to leave. Transfers still have a while, and Olympiacos will go on and do what we need. I am more than certain about that. His style is similar to Horta's. I get where you're coming from. He's a much better player than Andre, but I get where you're coming from. He's an attacking focused midfielder, that's for sure. His passing is immense. His placement is immense. He is a much better Andre Horta. And honestly, I didn't expect us to hit an hour again. The show went flawlessly, and I thank you all for giving us company once again. I thank you all for interacting, dropping in your thoughts, your questions, and everything in between. We will be back, not tomorrow, but we will be back on Wednesday to talk about game 1 and everything that happened. And hopefully, as I promised a few episodes ago, we won't be separated RSP on Wednesday, as Gav is expected to be back. This man is expected to appear as the regular season appears in our screens as well. But that's about it on my end. Your support is amazing. I really don't know what to say anymore sometimes. And as always, links are down below. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Go nominate us on the FCAs. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.